Alright, so we're going to start to model the hand next, and what I have here is some image reference that you can find online. You can download it over here at the description at the bottom over here. And this, I've created a plane and I've basically added a texture in here. Now just for your information over here, if you don't see your texture appearing, just make sure that your use default material is turned off. There's some I guess some settings in Maya in 2017 where they have this turned on, and if it's turned on you can see your material, so just make sure that it's turned off. Alright, so I like this reference over here where we can start to see the lines and use it as a basic guideline. I'm not going to copy everything over here, but we're going to use it as a basic guideline on how we're going to go ahead and model the hand. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a basic plane, right, and let's go ahead and change this to 1:1. Okay, and I'm going to, like I said over here, this is just number 6. Alright, okay, so let's go and freeze the transformation, center the pivot, etc, etc, and let me get my X-ray turned on here. Now I have also different layers over here for hand top and hand bottom. Now I'm just going to concentrate on the hand top first, and let's go ahead and start to create this part over here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bit of a plane modeling over here to do the first part, right, and I'm going to consistently check back with what I have here on my perspective view, right. So I'm just going to move this down a bit, and then we're going to continue on from there. So this will be extruded here. The edge would go down over here, because that's going to create the other part of the hand, which is the hand bottom, which we'll create later on. Right, so this is what we have over here, and I'm going to extrude it again for it to go down this side. Of course this has to go to the bottom, so that's this one over here, right, just to create that arc off for the finger over there. Alright, here is a bottom view of the things that we see. Now let me just again get rid of some of these things, and let's see, let's bring our bottom back down over here. Perhaps we'll look from this side as well, but we're gonna extrude, or we're gonna move around the other side. So instead of doing that, let's just focus on these guys over here. Right, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and continue to extrude it downwards, and you just make sure it hides all the way to the bottom. Just going to focus to extrude it this way, and let's bring these two closer together. Perhaps I'll just go ahead and merge them and add whatever lines I need to later on. So I'll push this guy down. Now if I just bring back my bottom over here, there is some extra faces that goes along this one, so probably want to match it up with this guy. So I have 2 more that goes over here. Right, again we can't really see from over here, but it's okay. I'm just going to match it up to make it look kind of like how it's supposed to be. What we're going to do is mainly is for the bottom over here, just want to make sure that it's more or less the same, but let's just do the fingers first, and then later on we can match things up together. There are of course many ways for us to do this, but yeah, I find this way to be quite efficient and we can get the best results, so to speak. Alright, and again I'm not gonna go ahead and copy everything, so I'm just gonna skip some of them if I know that that area can kind of do without it, and maybe if I need to I'll just add the lines later on. So let's go ahead and quickly extrude this and move it to the proper positions where we need it to be. Now here's the part where things start to get a bit tricky and things start to change a bit. Right, so that's because there's somewhat of a fingernail going on over there, right, so that's where we're going to put our focus later on, right, but for now this is the part of the fingers that we're going to have, right, and what I'm going to do is I want to start to create the place where it starts to bend, which is basically over here. Right, so let's go and select those vertices and kind of push it inwards a bit. Right. Now what I can do here is I can select the edges this way, extrude it as such, and it goes around the fingernails over here. Let me just undo that a few times because we didn't select the correct edge. Right, so I just want to make sure that those three edges are selected, and then I push them out. Right, so same thing again. We just want to follow the line as best as we can, and then we'll go all the way through this guy. Alright, then we can sort of end it over here with our pen to polygon tool. Kind of fill the hole here and add lines across. So I'm just going to finish up the lines over here. Right, so more or less we get our fingers done. Now let me just go to a side view and we'll have a look over here and how we can improve this a bit more by pushing and pulling some of the fingers and the nail to make it look a bit more organic. Right, so something like that kind of does it for me. Right. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on these kind of things because at the end of the day he is actually wearing somewhat of a glove, so it doesn't really matter to me anyways. Let's go ahead and fill the hole there and finish up the lines. Alright, so more or less got that part done. Let's go ahead and soften the edges as well. Now what I'm going to do is continue to go over here, right, and then we'll start to again pull and push some of these guys into position. Now there's just one more thing which I need to show over here is that we also need to make sure that this line have the creases and arcs which would create if you look at the bottom of your fingers, right? So somewhere around here for at least this finger, this is the first of those arcs over there, and the second one would be somewhere around here. So let me just go ahead and push some of this here and there a bit, and maybe I'll just add one line across here. And the idea is I need to get rid of my camera. I need to have that other arc over there that goes around somewhat like that. Alright, so it's best for you to go ahead and do this before you duplicate, but I can just do it for the other fingers as well, so that it will create that arc. And also for the top part over there, if you look at your fingers, what happens is that this guy in between where this is compensates for it, so he needs to be the one that is like a mountain going a bit taller, right? So let's go and do that, and if we need to, we can actually go ahead and kind of like rotate this down a bit, right? Because there's a bit of an arc as it goes this way, and try to make sure that it like follows a proper line that goes this way, right? So you can go ahead and do that. And also later on we want to make sure that the line eventually goes from, if you look at your fingers over here, actually, if your little fingers over here, it should go have this way, where there's an arc going this way, right? So we can go ahead and adjust these things later on. Alright, so what I'll do is actually I'll go ahead and duplicate this guy, and he will be for the other finger. Let's just delete the history, center the pivot, freeze transformation, and just going to rotate him as such. And we can kind of expand him a bit more because he's the tallest of the fingers that we have over here. Right, and again, same thing. Let's just move things into place more or less. Right, and again, I'm not too worried about how the lines go and stuff like that, because I just want it to be a bit more randomized, and it has to look a bit more different from the first finger. So I'm just going to push and pull it to be a bit more different from the original finger that we had, but we're going to use it as a base topology. More or less it's all there already, right? So just going to push and pull things across here and there. And again, like I mentioned earlier, just want to make sure that that up maintains when we are moving these things. And if you need to, go ahead and add a new line in, right, so that things won't get too complicated. And I guess this one needs to be a bit more forward, right, goes a bit more forward, and this is where the dip starts to happen. Alright, so again, I'm not doing it perfectly. I just want to make sure that things move along and we get something that is decent enough. In these areas, I can kind of squeeze it in, push them in, right? Push and pull some of them inwards and outwards, and we'll manage to get things going. Alright, so I've just try to follow the line as best as I can. Something like that would do for now. Alright, so this is more or less okay to me. I don't think I'll make any much changes with this guy over here. And then again, same thing, I'll just duplicate whatever I had. Maybe I'll just use the index finger to standardize the thing. And I guess this one is a bit more skinnier, right? And we'll try to follow the shape as best as we can as well. Now same thing again, just push and pull things to where they're supposed to be, and then we'll be on the next path. Here I'll probably add one line right over there, since that's where the lines correspond. Right, probably want to delete this one here, and again I'll go ahead and move and pull some of this, push and pull some of these vertices. Swap modeling is about, right? And let's see, maybe I'll go ahead and rotate this guy to follow this angle here, and let's add one loop across here, and let's start to pull them across the lines. Now for this group of vertices over here, just rotate it a bit more, and we'll again move them across the lines. Alright, so that's more or less how we want it to be. Let's just have another look at the bottom here. Alright. Okay, so again, I just want to make sure that we have the edges going in and out as they should, right? Same thing for this one over here. Just want to make sure that things are following the right flow. Okay, so pretty happy with that one, and I will just go ahead and do the other one, the last of these fingers before we do the thumb. Same old thing again. This time I'm just gonna rotate him here is a bit more skinnier, the most skinniest finger amongst the rest of them. Right, so let's go and push and pull them into position. Now some of this I might even just skip if I think it's just unnecessary to have it. And if I really need to, I mean later on when I re-evaluate everything, and if I really need to, I'll go ahead and probably need to add one or two because of this those arcs at the bottom. Right, so select all these vertices over here and go ahead and rotate them again. This really saves a lot of time as compared to if you really go ahead and do them again one by one. Alright, so just want to make sure that these arcs are following through. Okay, so we have our fingers over there, more or less, and we're gonna use this to continue to create the palm. But before that, let me just again push and pull some of this across some of the lines to make sure that they match up to everything. So I just want to perhaps make this a bit fatter as well. Right, and like I said before, there's supposed to be somewhat of an arc over here, so I'm just going to make sure that this follow through. So as you can see, there's an arc going around this here, right? So in the next part, we'll start to merge these guys and start to create the top part. I'm going to ignore the bottom part because we're going to do that separately, and then for the thumb as well. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and delete the history, center pivot, and freeze transformation. And let's go ahead and combine some of these two guys over here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly merge some of these edges over here. I just want to quickly create the relationship between these two objects over here. Right, so if we go from the top over here, we can start to see that the object is over there, and I'll just go ahead and create one line across here and we'll move it as such. Right, so that's the line over there. Now this would actually go ahead and help me to create the space that is needed for these other guys over here. Now let's go ahead and just combine the rest of them as well. Alright, just let's go create that arc in between the fingers first, and then we'll talk about how to actually merge them together. Alright, so oops, it's not the right one, so undo that. It's this one. So create this one over here, and then combine these guys as well and create that bridge in between the two fingers. And of course we'll have the line that goes in between them as well. Okay, so let's go from the top and start to pull this line to their correct position. And I'll just push and pull some of these guys to its correct position as well. Again, doesn't have to be exact, more or less supposed to be where it's supposed to be, where the lines are matching. Alright, I think I'm good, something like that for now. Okay, so next thing is go from the top as well. I'm going to start to draw the line across this way first, so that will help to create that arc. If you notice, there's actually an arc on that side of the palm, or not as the palm, the top of the palm, I don't know what you call it, the back of the hand I guess. So let's go ahead and push and pull some of these guys along, right? And I'm just gonna move this guy here. This will be merged here, this will go here. Alright, so I'll just merge them. Just press 3 to make sure that everyone is more or less in place. Now here's where the tricky part is, where we need to ensure that, you see right now it goes to this angle, which is not exactly correct. This is the part where we need to ensure that everything kind of matches up. Alright, so let me just push that one up for now. Right, so this part here is gonna be a bit taller, and this is the part where we have that dip. Alright, so let's go ahead and just move these faces first, these edges to where they're supposed to be. Right, so next thing is we do have these lines at the top here, these two edges here. Let me just go ahead and extrude them as well. And of course this is merged here, while the rest of them are being moved into position, and we need the line across this way. Let's go ahead and merge them as well. Okay, now like I mentioned, we need to start to create that arc and stuff like that, so let's go ahead and try to do that. So it's I guess it's easier for me, at least, when things are a bit more structured, where I can actually move them one by one instead of having to do some kind of box modeling for this one. So that's, at least that's what I prefer. Let's just go ahead and create the lines there, and we'll draw out the where it's supposed to be, the lines. Oops, not the right one. Use the multi-cut tool to cut it where it's supposed to be. Just a quick history lesson, I guess. The multi-cut tool was once known as a split polygon tool, and then Maya kept changing its name, as Autodesk kept changing its name, but some versions ago, at least in the 2008 version when I first started, it was known as the split polygon tool. Good times. Alright, so as you can see from about over here, this is where the arc starts to happen. Alright, so that's where I start to create. This is where your knuckles are actually, and then after that it goes down around this area over here. Right, so that's why we kind of need to make sure that things are done step by step, because at least for me, that ensures the thing looks a bit more realistic, a bit more aesthetically nice looking, as compared to you go ahead and do it the box modeling way. I just want to make a bit of a bigger knuckles over there. Alright, so that's the plan. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and do all the knuckles over here, and I will start to draw out this line for up to maybe halfway through where the thumb starts to begin, and then I'll create another one for, I'll create another plane for where the bottom part over here, and I will start to merge them together. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue this guy over here. Let's just see it from the top again. Alright, so basically the same thing again. So I'm gonna take this edge here and I'm gonna extrude it this way. Now if you want to, and if you are lazy like me, you can kind of like skip one of these and then use a line, just drop it in. Now it depends on how you want to do it. There's many ways to do things. Right, so here I just need to be careful, because this is where it's an indication for me where it drops, right? And I said earlier, for some of these guys over here, it needs to go to the top. Right, so let's go ahead and pull this up over here, because that's where the knuckle for this finger is gonna be. Right, so we're going to go ahead and continue here. Right, where it goes all across this way. Just make sure it snaps to the right one. And I will start and merge some of this. And of course I'll go ahead and add the lines where they need to be, right across there. Alright, so next thing is we're going to fill this hole and start to draw the line to where things make sense, where things match up. Right, so let's go ahead and draw the line across this way first, and then we'll start to, let's see, from here. Right, so that's a 4. I believe there's a 4. Let's have a look. Nope, not from there, probably from here instead. This would make it a 4. Go this way. Yep, that's more like it. Might need to, let's see, I think we can fix it this way. There's enough lines here, here. Alright, now let's see how we can work around for this guy over here. Well, I believe by right this was supposed to be merged somewhere else, but it's okay. I can just go ahead and fix this by creating a line across this way instead. Right, now let's go ahead and pull this up to create the knuckles. Right, so it gets a bit tedious, I guess, once we start to introduce more of these vertices and more of these edges, but I guess that's the pain of modeling sometimes, but that's what makes it a bit more fun, or creating stuff. That's what modeling is about, making things look good. Right, so over here I'll start to go ahead and pull and push some of this to make it a bit more spacious for that arc of ours. Right, and of course I'm gonna go ahead and soften the edges as well. Right, so things would kind of deform naturally, and perhaps I'll just rotate this a bit more. Alright, that would do. Now let's go ahead and do this part here before we go to the other one. So maybe we'll delete the history over here as well. So I think I will script this area, just since I show you these two over here. You just have to do the same for this part, just the top part over here. Just follow the lines, and then when we come back we'll start to create the other part over here. Alright, so I've gone ahead and cover up those lines over there. Alright, so we've created for the other two fingers. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to create this arc over here, follow the lines, and then about halfway through, right? And maybe I'll do the arc for the circle, for the thumb. We'll see where we can get through, but before that, what I want to do is I just want to make sure that some of these edges at the back over here are more properly distributed, and because they are supposed to be the knuckles, and then what we need to make sure that they actually go up instead of go down. So I just want to make sure that these are more even. Alright, so let's just push some of these edges up so that it will conform to the shape and size of a hand. Now what I can do next is I'll take these edges here and I'll start to move them along. Right, again, this part here I'm a bit lazy. I'll create a loop or the other edge later on. Let me just quickly get the shape out first. Maybe one more. This is where the start of the thumb will be mostly. Right, so as you can see, it kind of conform that way. I believe that some of these edges here needs to be pushed down forward a bit more. Right. See, maybe we'll push it in a bit more as well. Now I'll create these two lines that we kind of need. Maybe I don't need this line over here, but at least I do need this one over here, right? And let's see, I'll probably want to use this guy over here. I'll just do a bit more, one more extra line over there, right? So this guy is going to be the start, where I'll create and extrude everyone that goes all the way across this way. Alright, and probably want to add about 3 lines across there. Later on we'll start to match up who goes who, where goes where. And the idea is just that I want to make sure that the palm shape is there, because it's supposed to be an arc going this way. So that's why I have these few lines first, so that will help me to create that arc that I need right across over there. Right, now let's go ahead and fill up some of these areas here. So I have a line over there. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and pen these two together, and we'll create a line across this way as well. So this will allow me to push and pull it a bit better here and there. There's many ways for you to do this. You can go ahead and fill the hole over here, the whole hole. But what I do is I just want to separate them into two and merge some of these guys to where they're supposed to be. Move them along this way. And I'll go ahead and merge them here and here. Right, then I'll go ahead and draw the lines that correspond. Right, so again we're starting to get the arc over there. Alright, so this is the correct way of having the hand to follow that shape. It's not supposed to be flat, it's supposed to be an arc. In fact, there's actually arcs across all the models. For organic modeling, you need as much arcs as you can. Right, so let's go ahead and merge these guys here. And I'll start to push and pull some of them around as well. Right, so from here, you can create that one more line, which helps me to determine the size or the shape of how this is going to be. So I'll just pull this down a bit more. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill these two holes over here, and then after that I'll match up the lines where they need to be. Right, but more or less we're getting the shape of this hand over here going around. Right, so after this I'll create like a circle over here where the thumb starts to conform, and then I'll go ahead and do the bottom part next. So let's just go ahead and fill up the lines over here. It's pretty simple. I'm just gonna create lines over here, and this guy's over here as well. Right, he's gonna be follow through. Right, so before I go to that other side, just want to make sure that manage to push and pull some of these vertices to make it conform to the shape a bit better. Right, so something like that will do for now, and we'll just push this a bit more this way, and we'll go ahead and create the lines that we need for these guys as well. Basically just pull it across that way, and let's see, probably want to create 2 more lines across this way as well. And we'll go ahead and finish up the lines here. Now I do have some lines that go across this way. There's of course many ways to go ahead and solve this, so we can go ahead and just do this one over here. Alright, and it will kind of end the line that way, right across here. And what we can do is basically create another loop that goes across this way as well, and create another loop that goes across that way. Right, so that will help to create the line a bit better. And again, I can push and pull some of these vertices into position and move them to where they're supposed to be. So I kind of want to push this a bit further up. Right, and I'll go ahead and soften the edges. Okay, so pretty happy with that one over there. Let's just move some of these vertices across. Right, again, just want to create that up over there, and eventually what we'll start to see is that, let me just push some of these guys up a bit more, so we need to have that shape going this way. Alright, so that's the right one. Okay, so the next part, I'll go ahead and extrude these guys over here, and I want to quickly create that circle area where I'm going to start to extrude the thumb, right, where I can use to go and extrude thumb. Right, we can use this edge over here to make sure it goes all the way through, and it will go through, they will meet right here at the bottom eventually. Right, so let's go ahead and pull them maybe one more time up here. Of course, I need to go and adjust these vertices later on. Let me just merge them here and there, and I'm gonna go ahead and merge them as well. Right here, of course, needs to be twisted. So that's this guy, and let's push him down this way. Now let me just go ahead and pull some of these edges out across this way as well. Alright, so these guys here, this group of guys here, can be used to be pulled for the thumb, which we will do later on. But the next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new plane to start to create the bottom part of this, so I have the correct lines and stuff like that, and then we're going to start to merge them together. So about halfway through. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to touch on the bottom of the hand. So I'm just going to hide my hand here in this hand layer I have over here, which is with the arm. And what we're going to do is same thing again. I'm going to create a plane. Right, so this is my plane over here, and let's change this to 1:1. Right, same thing again like how we did the other guys over here. If we bring my hand back over here, I just want to do for the bottom over here. Alright, so that means I kind of have to start somewhere, and basically I just want to get the edge flow going over here at the bottom of the hand. Alright, so let's go ahead and again extrude them really quickly and try to get it to match up with whatever we have at the top, the original one at the top. Right, so I'll go ahead and add my lines wherever I need them to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and extrude where they need to be as well. I'm just doing this really quickly again, just to get that shape out as fast as I can get it to be. Right, so that later on I just want to see how they match up with whatever we already have. So I'll just add the lines where necessary. Probably extrude this one out. And this will go somewhere along here. So this would allow me to go ahead and extrude this guy to then snap him to here, or perhaps a faster way to do this is just to use our pen to polygon tool and snap it there. Alright, so I can add my two lines that I need over here, right, that conjoins here, right, and for this one perhaps I need to extrude it out. This would go here and this would go here, right, and let's go ahead and merge the vertices where necessary, and again we can use our pen to polygon tool to fill up whatever we need to fill up. Alright, so that helps to create the bottom part of it over here. So what of course is this is super flat, and what we want to do is get that arc out as best as we can. Perhaps we should have done this a bit earlier instead of trying to create and follow everything, but it's okay. I can try to get as much of this arc out as fast as I can through this method over here. So I'll just try to push and pull some of them and let them follow the line naturally, right? Alright, so I'll go and just bring back my other hand here, the one that we have created earlier, which is all the way up here. Let's push it up. So just want to see how they match up with each other. Obviously I have to go ahead and reverse the normals for this one, because I'm modeling from the other side, right? So I just want to see how they match up over here, and as we know there should be somewhat of a bend around this area here, so this area should be going this way. As you can see in the image, it will go two ways. One will go this way, another one will go this way, and this guy will go down right here in the center. So that's what we want to try to do. So this area here will have quite a bit of meat, and this area here obviously have quite a bit of meat as well. Alright, so let's continue on with this one. I'll probably have to reverse that again, and let's continue to model him. Right, so perhaps what I want to do right off the bat, let me just bring back this guy over here. Somewhere over here, I just want to extrude it out so that I know this is conforming to the shape of what I need it to be around here, right? And later on over here I can just go ahead and merge wherever needs to be merged and try to follow the lines. But what I'll do next is to continue from these angles over here, right? So let's try to do this over here first, and what I'm going to do is perhaps go up to here, right, and this will be the line where it conforms to this shape, right, and then the second line will go this way out, right? So I know this part here, this is the part that's going to be pop out, and then this is going to be the one that cave in, right? So that's why I'm doing these guys here first, so that I can start to create that valley right across here. Alright, so once I'm done with that, let me just reverse my normals again. As I said earlier, there will be the valley over here, right? So this one here will pop out more. Same goes for these guys over here, and this area here will cave in, right? So that will help to create that arc over there a bit better. Right, so I'm just gonna sit from this angle and just start to push and pull stuff a bit better. Alright, now let's continue on. Perhaps what I want to do is, let's say I'll start with this guy first, right? So let's continue on to get him to where he's supposed to be. So he will conform to this shape over here, which goes all the way to the bottom. Let me just bring up my hand, so I know there's one or two more lines I have to follow through. So this will be merged together with my original hand that I have over here. So this one will probably merge over here, right over there. So maybe I'll just try to push them out a bit more, and these guys can kind of like go in a bit better, right? So that's how you kind of like see things through and try to get the best shape possible. So here, probably I'll skip one line first. If I need to, I'll add the line later on. But this is where this guy is supposed to be at. Let's go ahead and merge these guys over here. And we can go ahead and extrude these ones over here. Alright, so obviously these guys need to be pulled up more, and there's supposed to be a line that goes through over there. So before that, let me just see how things conform. Right, so probably want to have this guy a bit inside, and let's draw the line where necessary and merge them where necessary as well. And I'll push some of this out to get that extra meat going. So later on we'll go ahead and merge them. Obviously there's still some matching up work to be done, but we'll try to get it done as best as we can here first, and then later on we'll see how we can match it up. I don't want to match it up right now because it's just gonna confuse us, right? But what we do know is that, as mentioned earlier, this part here needs to be pulled out a bit more so that it has more meat across this area over here. Right, it's where the thumb starts to happen. So let's go ahead and fill this hole here, right? And we can start to draw the lines. Right, so those guys have been drawn, and then we can start to move the edges and vertices downwards to make it a bit more meaty, especially that part of the palm over there. Alright, so that works for me. Now let me go ahead and do these guys over here. Let me just extrude him. I know this is the part where it starts to conform and go down, right? So it's a pretty important edge there. So this is the part where it starts to kind of conform and it starts to go down, right? And then it starts to create that ridge from here. Okay, so let's go ahead and model that. And I'll draw one line across this way. Alright, so let's just make sure that this goes inwards as well. We just want to get that line pushed out better. Just a bit. Alright, so pretty okay with that part over there. So next thing is let's focus on this ridge area over here. What I'll do is probably need to merge this up here this way, draw a line and merge the vertices up. there. Right, so I said this is the where he has a ridge, and this guy has to be pulled down. Alright, so let's go ahead and fill this hole over here. So go ahead, go to mesh and fill hole, and we'll draw that line across here, move them into place. And we'll start to push and pull some of these vertices here and there. So let me just go ahead and soften the edge as well. So there you go, we start to get our palm going over here. Let's delete history as well. Alright, so the next part, let's finish up this area over here, and then we'll probably start to connect where it's necessary. Probably need to rise up some of these guys a bit better. They need to start to follow the shape. Alright, especially this area over here, and later on this area over here. So let's do that in the next part.